Hey, what's up you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another movie review on Spider-Man No Way Home. Holy crap! Okay, this is going to be a different video. First off, I'm standing in a different spot in the dork room. Second off, I wanted to talk about action figures during this movie review, and maybe I'll do my movie reviews like this more in the future where I incorporate action figures with the review somehow, because I have a couple set aside over here that I wanted to show off. Like, first off, this one, I'm confused why people keep calling this the Figma Amazing Spider-Man figure. It's totally the Reveltech Amazing Spider-Man. Oops. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, sometimes mistakes happen. But I am still curious why we're not seeing more Figma Spider-Man figures, because this is a very dope figure. Also, the black and gold suit Spider-Man suit. There is no accurate version of this anywhere. I thought the Hot Toys one was going to be accurate, but that one is totally inaccurate too. So, no, no accurate black and gold Spider-Man suit. And again, I will do a non-spoiler section and then a spoiler section for this video. Before I watched the movie, I had seen Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then I put on Spider-Man 2. If you're itching to watch a Spider-Man movie and you don't have tickets for this movie yet, I recommend watching Amazing Spider-Man 2 again. I wasn't really spoiled by anything except for the obvious, so I was really happy that I stayed away from social media, and I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I got to watch it with my brother, Zach Helsing, and Jean Sanity, and we had a fantastic time. It was amazing, and I really enjoyed this movie. The characters, I really didn't expect to be... I didn't expect so much from the characters that I knew that were going to be in this movie. Like, there's a lot of characters that we saw in the trailer, and I didn't expect so much depth with those characters. So that really... it was more than I expected. Fairly long movie, by the way, but did not feel long at all. So I could have watched probably like another, was it 2.5 hours long, I think? But I could have watched another 3 hours of it. I loved it. I gotta say, there was stuff in this movie that I had always wanted to see that I never thought I was going to see, that I was really happy to see. I'll get into that more in a little bit during the spoiler section. And the movie was paced very well. I don't think it was rushed or anything. I thought there was a lot of dynamics to the movie, a lot of emotions to the movie, aside from like, ooh, cool special effects, you know what I mean? Like, it was really dope. It hit me on an emotional level, and that's what really takes these type of action movies to the highest ranking for me, is that, yeah, the special effects are amazing, but if you could hit me on an emotional level, then now you're on another stratosphere here now. And it did that for me. Maybe not for everybody. And I think that's all I want to say for right now. I don't want to get into... I mean, the special effects did look amazing and everything. I'm not going to discredit that. That was absolutely fantastic. I mean, there's some stuff there I was like, whoa. But let's move on to the spoilers section. Go watch this movie. It is freaking awesome. I don't think anybody's going to dislike this movie. It's just a matter of how much you like it. I think that's where it's going to be at, honestly. I would like, if anybody hated it, I'd like to hear how you hated this movie. All right, let's get on to the spoiler sections. You have been warned. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oops.
I made a list of my favorite things because there's so much I wanted to talk about. So let's talk about the villains first. Probably my favorite thing from this movie, Green Goblin. Holy shit. Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin, he went above and beyond his previous performance, I think. I mean, we wouldn't have been able to get this type of performance if it wasn't for his previous acting as Green Goblin, but this was the best. Like, it was so good. I wanted the maskless Green Goblin. Like, I love Willem Dafoe's face for the Green... He looks just like the Green Goblin. And then they put a helmet on him, and it looks so goofy, and you see it get smashed almost right away. I would prefer, like, a skin-tight green sleeve over it, but I didn't think I would ever see so much Willem Dafoe Green Goblin, and he is not my favorite Spider-Man villain. But I will stand behind him being the greatest Spider-Man villain. Not just in this movie, but just generally speaking, I love, like, he's definitely my third favorite. I love Venom. I mean, it's Doc Ock, Venom, Green Goblin for me, but I still think he's an incredible character. The performance was just so well done, so well written. I just loved everything about the Green Goblin. Like, it, oh my god. Okay. Doc Ock, also, holy crap. I love the depth that they went into these characters, by the way. Like, you see the Norman Osborn, and you see the Green Goblin conflict again. You see the same thing again with Doc Ock and the inhibitor chip, like the pre-busted inhibitor chip Doc Ock. The whole fact that Spider-Man has to fix all of these, oh my god, it's like, I'm so annoyed with Spider-Man at first, but it's like, then, like, I'm with Doctor Strange, but then I learned that, you know what, actually, he's actually right. He's actually right. So, I thought that was great with Doc Ock, and how he was able to take the suit, and then Spidey was able to, you know, pair up with the suit and everything, and then we got this version over here, which really confused me, because I was like, why are they giving us just new Spider-Man suits that are almost like the previous version? And the integrated suit makes so much more sense. It's a partial Iron Spider suit, not a full Iron Spider suit. So I thought that was great. I thought that was really awesome how they made that happen. Dude, I love the Doc Ock and the visual effects for Doc Ock. I mean, seeing those wide shots and those tentacles throwing cars. Oh my god. So sick. I'm just trying not to let this video be an entire gush fest. I'm going to move on. But I loved Doc Ock in this movie. So good. So good. Especially at the end of the movie, man. Yes! If there was one to defect like that, yes. Yes. So sick. I loved it. Electro. Electro was great. So much better. There were some things from this Electro that I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I felt like we needed this. He gives a little hint at Miles Morales, which was really awesome. Also, this little scene, it reminded me of my uncle, where he's at the table, and I mean, like I feel like this Electro has a little bit of more, I don't know. He seemed a little bit more street to me, and my uncle, who grew up a bit more street, like he would kind of like, I would almost kind of feel bad for having figures around and stuff, and the way he said it, like, he's like, are these your Legos? Like, hell, like, dude, don't tell me these are your Legos. Like, your grown ass has these Legos. Like, he said all that with his eyes, you know, and as collectors, we have gotten that look, we have gotten that question before, right? Are these your action? This is your toy? Like, for real? This is your toy? Like, I totally felt that, and I loved how he was powered up. I loved the attitude and everything from Electro. I like how they wrote Sandman and Lizard, the way they're, you know, not up in the forefront, but I'm glad that we finally got to see the actors' real faces. So that was awesome, because I was like, oh man, especially with the Sandman, but he couldn't form yet, I guess. He couldn't get himself to look human. So seeing the human the human faces at the end, that was very satisfying. That, like, we needed to see that. I thought that was great. J. Jonah Jameson, oh my god, in the social commentary, like, I thought it was really well done. I thought and when you see it pan back and he's got the green screen and the camera there, like, it was like, that's so meta. That's so meta, dude. That's crazy. I love that. And then on top of that, the whole conspiracy thing, like when Peter goes to the school and there's three teachers. Notice this. There's three teachers. Two of them love Spidey, and one of them believes all the conspiracy stuff. That's where our country is at right now, where we have 1/3 that's like really into the conspiracy theories, and then the other 2/3 are not. That's just the reality of our world right now. I'm not going to touch on specifics, but that's where we're at. We have 1/3 over here, and then 2/3 over here, and there's those three teachers. And the way they handled that, I thought it was very graceful. I loved Doctor Strange in this movie also, so that was great how he is so willing to help him. And I was like, kept thinking to myself, like, in the trailer, why would Doctor Strange help Spider-Man? Why would he help Peter throughout all this? But you got to understand, from Strange's perspective, he meets, first off, Peter saves him, right? Second off, he's introduced to him as this kid getting thrown into space during Infinity War, and like Strange firsthand witnesses all the bullshit that Peter went through. Like he really feels bad for this kid. Also, I love the Doctor Strange Spider-Man team up. It's fantastic. And then seeing them fight each other, oh my god, that was so. I didn't expect to see that. Always wanted to see that. And then boom, there we go. I thought it was great. Actually, that was my first cheer when he webbed up Strange and dipped. I was like, whoa, Spidey! Like I was like that. I thought that was so sick. I love Doctor Strange. I like how this was partially a Doctor Strange. I love how they get into the mirror verse and everything, and the special effects. It was partly a Doctor Strange movie in some of these parts, and I thought it looked amazing, and it was just great. I loved it. I loved it. I also I loved how we still had the core group from our previous Spider-Man movies. Like, we have MJ and Ned there the whole time, and we need them there. We also get Happy in this movie also, and we need those characters to ground us into this Peter Parker's world, and they just did a great job with it. I loved that Ned was actually especially helpful. Like, I thought that was great. I didn't expect it to be Ned to be the one to pull the Spider-Mans from the other universes. Like, holy shit, I just didn't expect that. And I thought it was great. It was cool to see him be more useful and everything. I gotta say, I teared up a bit at the scene with Ned's mom. I hadn't seen any kind of Pinoy representation like that ever. You guys were cheering during the theater. So Zach Helsing, my best friend over here since high school, we'd watched all the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies together. And his mom is actually who introduced me to Marvel Legends. And unfortunately, Loisa passed away. Zach Helsing was translating the Tagalog for me in the scene. And I hadn't experienced that since his mom was around. Like, him cracking up at what she was saying and me going, what'd she say? What'd she say? And him kind of like, kind of summarizing those translations and everything, and the way she talked and stuff, and it just like it brought us back to a moment that I had missed, and it really hit me in the gut. It really, his mom was like an aunt to me. I would call her Tia Loisa, and it just really hit me in the gut, and yeah, man. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I cried for like 5 minutes during the movie, dude. I'm like starting to tear up right now a little bit, but like, yeah, it kind of took us back in time for a minute, and it really hit me in the gut, dude. It really did. It was also really satisfying to see the Filipino and Filipina representation there. It just really made me happy. It made me sad as shit, but it also overall made me happier. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the Spider-Mans. Garfield Spider-Man. By the way, this Mafex Spider-Man, as much as I complained about it with the fading and everything going on right over here, I don't think we'll ever see. I mean, we know Hasbro's going to make this, right? We're going to get a Hasbro Amazing Spider-Man. Like, we're going to see movie figures from this film, and this is so far, I think, the best Amazing Spider-Man 2 figure, but I can't wait to see what Hasbro does, especially when they teased with the backpack. So, yeah, I'm very excited for this Spider-Man right here, because I always felt like this was the weakest Spider-Man, and this movie knows it. Like, this movie knew that this was the weakest Spider-Man, especially when they're talking about their different experiences with aliens and stuff. He's like, oh, wow, you guys did, like, really a lot of cool stuff. Like, he really, they really addressed that, and I thought that was fantastic. I really liked that a lot. And then, like, they continued on. Like, I was just watching Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then seeing that scene where MJ is falling, Tom Holland's Spider-Man gets taken away, Spider-Man 1 gets taken away, and then Spider-Man 3 jumps down and makes the save, and you could see how it kind of wrapped up that character. I didn't expect them to write that in. It was just so beautifully done. I just didn't see that coming, and it just made me like this character even more, because as much as I don't think those are good movies because there's too much babbling going on and too much like lame improv, I thought the action scenes were great, and I thought the way they handled the Spider-Man itself was fantastic. It's just that the too much bad dialogue in that movie. But man, so happy to see this Spider-Man kind of level up a little bit. That whole thing, like, yeah, okay, Spider number 3, yeah, okay. Like, he's got self-esteem issues. I think that was just too awesome. I really liked that a lot. And then moving on to our Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Holy shit, it's like this movie also knew that this was everybody's favorite Spider-Man, right? Like, he was the example. He had such a big role in this movie that I really felt like it was like, this is how you Spider-Man, basically, right? Like, the whole thing with the, you know, that was like, oh, what do? You just go out there like that in your regular clothes or whatever, and he just is like that, like, oh. And I don't know, he just, and also the whole thing with nobody knowing his, like, the way he explained nobody knew his identity, and talking about the rage and the anger that he had and stuff, and the way he jumped in to stop him from killing the Green Goblin. And he had that, Tobey Maguire, man, he could say so much with his face. I liked how he's just like staring at Tom Holland, like telling him, like, you don't want this to be you. Like, you don't want to be this version of yourself. Like, he was the Papa Spider-Man, and I can't wait for Hasbro to make a new one of these. We're gonna see it. Oh, we know it's happening. We know it's happening, and I can't wait to get a new Marvel Legends Sam Raimi or Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, or a Spider-Man number 2. Oh my God, I can't wait for that. We're definitely gonna get it. We all know it's gonna happen, without a doubt. There's no way this movie, so big, it's already doing so well that they don't already have these developed. The sculpt is there. They just need to distribute. That's how I see it. Like, they have pictures and everything. We just haven't seen any of it yet. They're probably going to do all the villains too. Oh my God. Oh, please, Bendy Wire. Anyway, the Tobey Maguire was the example, and the way I felt like without him, they wouldn't have continued on the way they have. The death of Aunt May was so important. We needed this from the Tom Holland Spidey. We really needed it. Like, we never saw him lose Uncle Ben. We never saw that loss really get taken from him. The closest thing we got was Iron Man dying. And yeah, I thought that was great, but it didn't hit home like him losing Aunt May. And when she gave the line, and she gave him the reassurance after she was killed, I thought that was also really cool that she got hit with that glider, and then she kind of like pops back up and she seems fine. And I'm like, damn it, movies are stupid. Like, dude, I've been hit by a car. I know the force involved in something like that, and dude, you are not making it. Like, you're not gonna make it. So I was actually kind of disappointed in the movie for a second. I'm like, oh wow, May just lived through that? Or she's not paralyzed? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? But the way they wrote it out, and she's like, hey, no, you did the right thing. This is what we do. This is what we do. And the way he lost her and everything, I thought it was just so perfectly done. And she said the line exactly like from the books, must also come with great responsibility. Perfectly delivered. And I'm going to miss Marissa Tomei. Zach Helsing and I, they were like, oh, hot. Oh, she's still so hot. Throughout the whole movie. Oh man, speaking of hot, I love the relationship with Zendaya and Tom Holland. I think it just works out so well. Also, just a side note, all the Spider-Mans get laid. Yeah, like Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, banging. You also had Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, banging. And then now Tom Holland, Zendaya, banging. Like, all Spider-Man gets the girl. Like, in many ways, in all the ways. Moving on, I loved how the rage was handled right there, and how that is the, like, fatherly figure and the example for Spider-Man moving forward. We have this whole clean slate thing, the selfless act of him having everybody forget him being alone in that shitty little apartment that looks like the Tobey Maguire apartment, having the window with the bricks, and I don't know, it just, and him swinging through the snow and everything, and I love how they end with the swinging scenes. But I gotta say, seeing him sew his own suit again, right? It looks like he's making his own suit again. Are we done with the ultra tech Spider-Man? That was one thing that always kind of bothered me a little bit, not a ton, but I was always a little bothered by Tom Holland's Spider-Man. kind of being like a half Iron Man. Like he's got, like, it was neat with the Doc Ock. He's outsmarted Doc Ock and stuff, but it's like that's more of a different character. Like this Spider-Man is definitely, you know, scientific genius and everything. It's there, so it may continue on, and I'm not gonna hate it, but it looks like it's gonna get dialed down a little bit. And from what I saw from the suit, it reminded me most of this right here, and I freaked out because I love this Spider-Man suit. It's one of my favorite Spider-Man suits, and Dan Slott's run was amazing. I know there's a lot of people that hate it for whatever, you know, for their reasons, sure, but I love Dan Slott's Spider-Man, and this suit looks so sick, and seeing a movie version that looked like this just made me happy as hell. Of course, the logo's totally different right there, but like the shiny colors, like it looked like this, and I thought it looked amazing. I'm so stoked with the new look. I'm excited for the next 3 movies and where it's going, the way this is set up, and I haven't watched a movie like this where I was so excited for everything that happened in it and for everything to come at the same time. I'm just so stoked, man. So, I'm curious to see where things go and how it goes, and I just can't wait. I am just thrilled. I can't be happier, to be honest with you. There's only one thing that was missing from this movie. Only one thing, and it's out of everybody's control, and I miss Stan Lee. Like, I wish Stan Lee could have had a cameo in this. It would have been incredible. But we'll miss him forever, right? We'll miss him forever. Moving on to the post-credit scenes. We get 2 post-credit scenes. Venom. I was hoping for this, but I didn't really expect it at the same time. But we have Venom traveling through different dimensions. The way they explain the blip and everything with the bartenders, like, they took my family for 5 years, man. Like, you're telling me it's not real? But he disappears again, and we get just the little goop sitting on the counter, and yes, look, we have 3 different Spider-Mans. We could have 2 different Venoms. So that's where I think we're going to go. I think we're going to get a fully flushed out, freaking big ass, Brock Lesnar looking freaking Venom. I think that's going to happen. I hope we get something like that in the future. Let us get the whole story. We get a black suited Spider-Man first, goes evil and all this stuff, and like, let's get the whole flushed out Venom story. I don't want anything to happen to the Tom Hardy Venom. Keep that going and doing its thing, sure, but like, we could have another universe's Venom in the MCU, and I think it's going to be awesome. I hope they do it like that, where we have a Venom here and a Venom there. I'm happy with that. I want to know what you guys feel about that. I was also kind of expecting an Into the Spider-Verse connection. That would have been kind of neat, but I was kind of hoping for it, not expecting it. Not disappointed that it's not happened. It didn't happen. Just at least getting remnants of a shout out from Electro was dope. And then at the very, very end, we do get basically a trailer for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And yeah. And by the way, not one person stepped out of the movie theater during the regular credit scenes. That was good to see. But yeah, that trailer looked amazing. Seeing Wanda come back, and I love all of the lore and all the effects and all the stuff associated with Doctor Strange. I think it's going to be great. So I'm very much looking forward to the Multiverse of Madness. Sam Raimi is an incredible director, and I think they're going to crush it. It looks incredible. I can't wait for it. So I'm looking forward to seeing this movie again. I'm probably going to see it a whole bunch of times. Charlita one didn't get to see it because unfortunately my mom's been ill and we weren't able to get a babysitter. We're going to see it again tonight at the drive-in in San Jose. Nice and sunny and clear. So I'm excited for that. And I would like to know what you guys think about this movie. I absolutely loved it. It might be my favorite movie of all time. My favorite movie of all time has been Avengers Endgame, and that's because I had such a strong emotional connection going to the premiere and all of that. It's like a movie that's a movie, but it's also reality from my personal experience, and it's like it elevated the movie for me. It had a strong emotional connection for me, and that's why I've said that's my favorite movie. But this Spider-Man Spider-Man No Way Home, this is like, it hit me on another level, on an emotional level like that. So it might be my new favorite movie of all time. I'm not 100% about that. I've only watched it once. So Can't wait to see it again. Loved it. I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments section below. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see action figure reviews coming your way. And I will have a Spider-Man action figure review for you guys tomorrow. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you later. Peace! Hey, new ShartimusPrime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't. Your face.